Imagine your best friend, your fiancé, and your boss all sit down at a table and decide, calmly, over drinks, to destroy your entire life, not because you did anything wrong, but because you were about to be happy, and your happiness was inconvenient to them. Now imagine you spend the next 14 years in a stone cell, forgotten by the world, wondering every single day why. And then imagine you get out, not broken, not begging, rich beyond imagination, armed with patience sharper than any sword, and with a list. This is Alexandre Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo, one of the greatest revenge stories ever written, a book about betrayal, identity, justice, and the terrifying question of what a good man becomes when he's given the power of God and the memory of a devil. Let's get into it. Our story opens in Marseille in 1815. Edmond Dantès is 19 years old, a first mate on the merchant ship the Pharaon, and he is, by any measure, a lucky man. His captain has just died at sea, and the ship's owner, the kind and honorable Monsieur Morel, is about to promote him to captain. He's engaged to a beautiful Catalan woman named Mercedes. He has an aging father he adores. Life is, for one brief moment, perfect. And that perfection is exactly the problem. Three men look at Edmond Dantès and feel something curdle inside them. Danglars, the ship's supercilious accountant, is jealous of Dantès' coming promotion and resents being passed over for a younger, more talented man. Fernand Mondego, a Catalan fisherman, is in love with Mercedes and cannot stand to watch her marry someone else. And Caterus, a neighbor, is simply a drunk, greedy man who goes along with whatever's convenient. On the eve of Edmond's wedding, Danglars hatches a plot. On the voyage home, Dantès' dying captain had asked him to deliver a letter to a Bonapartist conspirator and to deliver another letter, given to him on the island of Elba, to a man in Paris. Napoleon is in exile, the monarchy has been restored, and being caught with Bonapartist letters is treasonous. Danglars writes an anonymous denunciation accusing Dantès of being a secret Bonapartist agent. Fernand, drunk and desperate, agrees to deliver it. Caterus watches it happen and says nothing. The letter lands on the desk of the deputy public prosecutor, Gérard de Villefort, an ambitious young man about to be engaged himself at the very same wedding feast. Villefort questions Dantès and quickly realizes the letter is basically nothing until he reads the name of the man in Paris the second letter was addressed to. It's Villefort's own father, a Bonapartist. If that connection ever came out, it would destroy Villefort's career. So instead of freeing an innocent man, Villefort burns the evidence and has Dantès imprisoned indefinitely, without trial, without explanation, a political favor to himself, dressed up as duty. Edmond Dantès is dragged away on his wedding day and disappears into the Château d'If, a brutal island prison, essentially buried alive. For years, Dantès rages, starves himself, and eventually plans suicide. Then, tunneling through his cell wall, he accidentally breaks into the cell of another prisoner, the Abbé Faria, an elderly Italian priest everyone in the prison dismisses as a madman because he keeps insisting he knows the location of a fabulous hidden treasure. Faria is not mad. He's brilliant. Over the following years, he becomes Dantès' mentor, teaching him history, science, languages, economics, swordsmanship, and the art of reasoning itself, turning an uneducated sailor into one of the most cultivated men in Europe. And crucially, Faria helps Dantès finally understand why he was imprisoned, reconstructing the conspiracy piece by piece from the few facts Dantès remembers. Danglars, Fernand, Villefort. Before he dies, Faria tells Dantès the truth about the treasure, a fortune hidden centuries earlier by an Italian noble family, buried on the tiny island of Monte Cristo, its location encoded on a scrap of paper Faria has kept hidden for years. When Faria finally dies after a series of debilitating attacks, Dantès executes one of the most famous escapes in literature. Guards routinely, sew the dead into a weighted sack, and drop them into the sea from the prison ramparts rather than bury them. So Dante switches places with his mentor's corpse at the last possible moment, hiding the body in his own cell and taking Faria's place inside the sack. He's carried up to the cliffs and thrown into the water, believing he's about to drown, only to cut himself free underwater with a knife Faria left him and swim, half dead with exhaustion, toward the nearest lights on the horizon. Rescued by a passing crew of smugglers, Dantes first tests his sea legs again on the tiny island of Tibelin before joining their ship and eventually engineering a reason to be left alone on Monte Cristo, where he finds Faria's treasure exactly where the priest said it would be, an almost unimaginable fortune, enough to make him one of the wealthiest men alive. But money isn't what changes him. What changes him is time. 14 years of silence, study, and grief have turned an open, trusting sailor into someone almost unrecognizable, calculating, endlessly patient, fluent in half a dozen languages and disciplines, and animated by a burning, ice-cold purpose to reward, generously and precisely, the people who helped him, and to systematically dismantle the 3 men who destroyed his life, not through violence, but by using their own greed, pride, and secrets against them. He returns briefly to Marseille in disguise to learn what happened while he was gone. His father starved to death, broken-hearted, believing his son abandoned him. Mercedes, believing Edmond dead, eventually married Fernand. Fernand used connections and outright treachery, including betraying a foreign general in Greece, to become a wealthy count. Danglars became a powerful, corrupt banker. Villefort climbed to become one of the most powerful prosecutors in Paris. Every single man who wronged Edmond Dantès is now rich, respected, and untouchable by ordinary means. So Dantes invents a new identity. He is no longer a poor sailor. He becomes the Count of Monte Cristo, mysterious, immeasurably wealthy, unbothered by social norms, and utterly magnetic to Parisian high society, which cannot resist a rich, exotic stranger with no clear past. The Count first appears to the sons of his enemies not in Paris, but in Rome, during Carnival, where he rescues a young Frenchman named Albert de Morcerf, Fernand and Mercedes' son, from a band of bandits led by the theatrical bandit king Luigi Vampa. Albert, grateful and dazzled, invites the Count to Paris and personally introduces him into the highest circles of society, precisely the introduction the Count needs. It's a small act of engineered generosity that hands him access to everyone he intends to ruin. Back in Paris, the Count of Monte Cristo builds an elaborate life designed entirely as a weapon. He buys a house next to a property with a dark history he already knows about. He acquires a devoted servant named Bertuccio, whose own tragic backstory turns out to be tangled with Villefort's. Bertuccio once stabbed Villefort in revenge for his own brother's execution, and discovered, buried in Villefort's garden, a baby Villefort had tried to bury alive rather than admit to an affair. That child, rescued and raised in secret, becomes another piece on the Count's board. The Count also brings into society a mysterious, beautiful young woman named Haiti, the daughter of an Albanian nobleman named Ali Pasha, whom Fernand betrayed and got killed years earlier, selling Haiti herself into slavery as a child. The Count bought her freedom and has raised her since, and she alone knows, and can prove, exactly what Fernand really did to earn his fortune and title. Piece by piece, the Count inserts himself into the lives of Danglars, Villefort, and Fernand, now known as the Count de Morcerf. He dazzles Danglars into overextending his bank's credit, opening a line of unlimited credit that lets him casually outspend and humiliate a man who built his entire identity around money. He manipulates a fake Italian nobleman, Major Cavalcante, and his supposed son, Andrea, into Parisian society as marriage bait for Danglars' daughter, not realizing, or perhaps very much realizing, that Andrea is actually an escaped convict and a killer. He befriends Villefort's household, getting close enough to his teenage daughter Valentine, who's fallen in love with Maximilian Morel, the son of the one man who was ever kind to Dantes. He even indulges the Parisian elite's taste for spectacle, hosting a dinner where he casually claims to have poisons and antidotes for every occasion, a detail that seems like theater until it becomes horrifyingly relevant to the plot unfolding under Villefort's own roof. Alongside all the scheming, Dumas never forgets the ordinary goodness in the story. Early in the Count's rise, he anonymously saves the house of Morel and Son from total bankruptcy, repaying decades-old kindness to the one family that never wronged him, proof that the Count's justice isn't blind cruelty, but precisely targeted. He rewards loyalty as ruthlessly as he punishes betrayal. The Villefort household descends into horror. Villefort's second wife, Heloise, desperate to secure her own son's inheritance, begins poisoning family members who stand between him and the family fortune. Valentine's grandparents, then others in the household, one after another, in one of the novel's darkest and most suspenseful stretches. Valentine herself becomes a target. Villefort's paralyzed father, Noirtier, who can only communicate by blinking, becomes the only person capable of protecting her in a race against a killer inside their own walls. Meanwhile, the Count discovers, almost too late, that his revenge has grown teeth he didn't intend. Maximilian Morel genuinely loves Valentine, and Dantes never meant to harm Morel's family, since old Morel was the one person who stayed loyal to him. He begins to realize revenge doesn't stay neatly aimed. Then the dominoes fall, one enemy at a time. Danglars is destroyed financially and reputationally. His daughter's engagement collapses in public scandal when Andrea Cavalcante is exposed as an escaped convict and murderer mid-ceremony, and the Count, through patient financial games and a forged telegraph signal, engineers Danglars' bank into total ruin. Fernand, the Count de Morcerf, is publicly destroyed when Haydée testifies before the Chamber of Peers, revealing exactly how he betrayed and murdered Ali Pasha and sold his own family into slavery. Albert, humiliated, challenges the Count to a duel to defend his father's honor, until Mercedes, recognizing Edmond Dantès at last after all these years, secretly begs the Count not to kill her son and tells Albert the truth about his father's crimes. Albert calls off the duel himself. Fernand, exposed and abandoned by his own wife and son, takes his own life. Villefort's fall is the most devastating. In open court, prosecuting the very case involving the poisonings in his own household, he's forced to publicly confess that Andrea Cavalcante, the convicted murderer, is actually his own illegitimate son, the baby he tried to bury alive years ago. The confession destroys his career and his name in front of all of Paris in a single moment. He rushes home to save his wife from the scandal, coldly offering her the choice of poison over the guillotine, only to find she has poisoned their young son as well as herself, taking the one truly innocent life in the entire story. Villefort, confronted by the Count and finally understanding exactly who has orchestrated his destruction, loses his mind on the spot, wandering off into madness while cradling his dead son's body. This is where the book turns from a revenge thriller into something deeper. Watching an innocent child die as collateral damage in his scheme against Villefort shakes Dantes to his core. For the first time, he questions whether he had the right to act as an instrument of divine justice. He nearly abandons his plan to save Valentine and Maximilian, who Villefort's poisoner nearly claimed as well. In the end, Dantes secretly saves Valentine's life, fakes her death to protect her from further danger, and eventually reunites her with a devastated Maximilian, revealing the truth only once his revenge is complete. In the final chapters, Dantes gives away enormous wealth, reconciles quietly with Mercedes, who chooses to live out her days modestly rather than take his money, a final assertion of her own dignity, and sails away with Haydée, who has loved him all along and finally tells him so. Before he leaves, he makes sure Maximilian and Valentine, still mourning what they believe is her death, are brought together one last time on the island of Monte Cristo itself, where the truth is revealed and their future secured with a fortune of their own. The novel closes with one of literature's most quoted lines of philosophy, as the Count leaves behind a letter reminding the young lovers, and all of us, that human wisdom is contained in 2 words: wait and hope. Dumas doesn't let his hero walk away clean, and that's exactly why the book still resonates 2 centuries later. Dantes gets his revenge, meticulously, completely, and satisfyingly. But he also gets a permanent education in how good intentions curdle, how justice and vengeance are not the same thing no matter how carefully you plan them, and how power without mercy eventually needs mercy to survive itself. The Count of Monte Cristo becomes, by the end, not just Edmond Dantès' triumph, but his warning to anyone who has ever dreamed of getting even. If you've ever wanted to see patience turned into an art form, and revenge written as elegantly as a chess match, this book is essential reading. Let me know in the comments which of the 3 enemies' downfalls hit hardest for you: Danglars, Fernand, or Villefort, and subscribe for more deep dive book breakdowns like this one every week.